Welcome to Inside City Hall. I'm your host, Mayor Daryl Seymore, and today on our show we have our incumbents that are running for City Council. We have Kevin Weaver. Welcome, Kevin.
Mr. Mayor, thank you.
John Leach.
Morning.
Welcome. Just share with us a little bit, the public. Let's go with you first, John, why you're running for City Council again.
Well, like I've done every year since I've ran, this is my third term. I really don't have any agenda. I just want to be involved with the city. I know there's a few things that we're discussing right now as far as an activity center and something I want to be involved in. But as far as one specific thing that I want to run for, I just like to be involved in the city. I think the council's done good the last few years. We've got a great council right now. Not saying a new council wouldn't be any different. I love to see more people get involved. When I first ran 8 years ago, my first term, that's what was my number one reason, is thinking get more people like me involved. So I always like to see more people get involved like Kevin. I think it's great. A couple of years, hopefully, we're going to have another election. We can do it again. But not one thing, just I've been involved with the city from the fire department, 23 years there, and I've always been active in the city from planning and zoning on up. So I just want to stay involved with the city. I love this town, and it's the only way I can think of is staying involved. So
Great. Appreciate that. Kevin Weaver, share with us maybe a little bit your background and possibly why you're running.
Okay. Well, my background, we've been here 26 years now. Moved to Arizona in 1978 from New York State. And, actually looking for a home, we kind of stumbled on Sholo and raised our children here. All four of them are working here. We've got 9 grandchildren that we're raising. 3 years ago, we buried my wife's mother here. We're locked in. I echo John's sentiment. I don't have any agendas. I want to be involved in the community. I took the invitation. There was an ad in the paper that said city people are free to run for city council, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to get my feet wet. I'm a newcomer to politics. Truthfully, I don't see any of these 3 guys that I would want to unseat. From my experience, I think we have a wonderful city council. I don't know if I might be sealing my own doom, but I'm kind of really wetting my feet, and I'm kind of looking to 2 years from now. There'll be 4 seats open, and maybe some incumbent won't run again. And so really my purpose is to get my feet wet. I care about the community, and I want to be involved. My wife and I decided we'll be here till we die. We've got a couple of plots over the cemetery next to her mom. This is our home now. Again, I have no gripes, no complaints. I think it's been a wonderful place, and I care about the community. I want to find a way to start getting involved.
Great. John, let me just ask you this question of being on council. I remember some of the comments and some of the things when you were brand new running. There have been things that you've learned what we can and we can't do as a city. We'd like to come in and change everything. There's limitations there. But what has been some of the things that you have felt that you've been able to help accomplish with the community, and some of maybe the changes that has enlightened you a little bit on being on city council?
Actually, what's enlightened me more than anything is probably back in planning and zoning. I started out in planning and zoning. I was chairman of that for a couple of years. And it amazes me that what you could do with your property and you can't do with your property. You think you own it, you can do anything you want with it. Well, you really can't. So some of that aspect kind of is different for me, because I feel like if you own it, you should be able to do what you want with it, and it's not that way. And that's kind of weird to understand, but right. Even commercial property is the same way. There's a process you got to go through with commercial property. I think some of the things that I've loved seeing since I've been on city council is the building we're in. I think it was something that we took from the phone, or bought from the phone company. And look at the beautiful building, the City Hall project, the library. I mean, there's just been some projects that have been really exciting to watch us do. The public safety building. I said public works building. Public safety building. That's a beautiful building. Look what we did to an old an old dealership, Hall Motors, and turned it into such a beautiful building. And to watch that grow and to use a lot of the local subs that we finally got to use was phenomenal too. So that's the other part that kind of irritates me on city council. Of course, being local, I've been here 40 some years, and we want to use all our local guys, but
Right.
government's government. You got to put it out, and local people, there's anybody who pays tax in Arizona. So that's kind of hard to get around. And I know a lot of us on the city council, and probably everybody in this community, wants to keep our guys at work. So that's kind of hard to deal with. But as we keep going forward, we kind of get around some of it by, like the public safety building, we kind of sub that out to ourselves. So,
Okay. Kevin, is there anything that you would like to see, change in Show Low, whether it be from streetscaping, the public works, or parks, or anything like that you'd like to really get involved with?
Well, yeah, truthfully, I mean, if I had a platform, I guess it would be the seniors, elders of our community. Working with hospice for, nearly 17 years now, I work primarily with a lot of senior citizens. And I guess I would like to see more improvement or enhancement in programs and maybe even housing developed for them. I mean, truthfully, in the city of Show Low, there's not an assisted living facility. Salterra's in Lakeside, there's a new one coming to Linden, but it just seems that there's not enough for our senior citizens, those who live on very fixed incomes. So, again, being new, it's difficult to, understand, change the world. No, that's not going to happen. But I guess that would be my thing, just finding a way to bolster, to enhance, and really further support the seniors of our community.
That's fantastic. Well, gentlemen, I appreciate you being here this morning. Give you a little opportunity to share what's on your mind, and we wish you both of you luck in this election. Kevin, thanks for being here.
Mr. Mayor, thank
John,
you.
Thanks,
thank
Mayor.
you.
Appreciate
you guys
it.
have a great day. We'll be back in just a minute. We're going to have Mike Alsop and our Vice Mayor with us here shortly. Thank you.
Great.
Welcome back. Got a couple of new candidates in here today. Brent Hatch, your Vice Mayor. Mike Alsop, welcome, Councilman. Glad you guys are here with us today. You're both decided to run again for council and stuff. Share with us a little bit about the background, how long you've been on council, maybe some of the things that you're over, some of your assignments you have on the council, and let's start with you, Mike.
Okay, I started out on the Show Low Fire Board for 8 years, and then I went to Planning and Zoning for 3.5 years, and now currently on City Council for just going on 9 years. Also, I'm on the board for the Meals and Wheels Senior Center, also the board for Main Street, active in my church. I'm on the president of our church council, and so I've been active, and also on the Little League board and coaching Little League. So pretty busy in the city.
Yeah, you're involved. You're involved. Vice Mayor.
Yes, I fulfilled the remainder of Gary Whipple's term. I was appointed to fill that term out on the city council, but I came to the city council, or ran for the city council, as I was a member on planning and zoning. And so I was interviewed and placed in Gary's role on the city council. And then I ran on my own, and I'm interested in the city. I moved here with no intention of being involved in city politics, but I've been interested with the way Show Low is growing because I'm a resident here and intend to remain a resident here. So I'm very involved in I think making some decisions that will see the community grow.
Okay.
We've seen some wonderful growth with the hospital and with the new construction that's going on and the housing starts and things. And I think it's well managed. We've got a good city government that we work with.
Great. What have you enjoyed most about being on council, Brent?
I think I've involved myself in the community more than I would have. I enjoy that aspect of it. I enjoy the council. I have a good council. We agree on things. Sometimes we don't agree on things, but we have a good fit as far as hearing all of the different aspects of issues that come before us for action. But I enjoy the involvement with the people in the community.
Great, great. Mike, what do you enjoy most about being on council?
You know, it was a little scary when you first get on the council because you have no idea really what it's all about. But after being on it, I just enjoy serving people. Even with on the fire board and planning and zoning, just serving people and to see the growth of Sholo. I mean, everybody likes it, small community, but yet we're still growing and we have to keep up with the basics that's coming up and the new stuff that people can be involved in and the growth. So it's just, it's nice to work with people and to be involved in what's going on in the city.
You know, I think it's interesting. One of the biggest things, it seems like we're always doing budget. You know, we have a fiscal year in July to June, but we're starting our budget, and then we start in January doing the next year's budget. So it seems like as a council member, you're always involved in the budget, and you learn a lot with the budgeting and everything that goes in place. But what's your thoughts of the budget process, and how has that enlightened you a little bit in the community with what we have?
You know, with any budget process, it's find out where we're at and what we're looking at growing and where our monies are going to be funded and stuff. But just like you said, when we start out so early in the year and trying to figure out what line item we're going to put it at, that's your main decision, and it takes a while to figure that stuff out. But what I like about the city and the budget we've been doing, and we only showed it on our screen for the last 5 or 6 years, but it's been for a long time. No matter what we budget, we've never spent our budget. We've always spent underneath our budget. And I think as a taxpayer and giving us your money and wanting us to control that, we're doing a really good job of giving you, we're paying off debt. We're also holding money for us in case we have a rainy season that we need to do something. But when we're tight, we tighten up our budget and we do what we need to do to protect your money and your investments.
It's great. What's your opinion about the budget then?
I think the budget is being conducted very well. When we see opportunities, as we've seen with the public safety building, that was just an abandoned automobile agency. But we had an opportunity, we saw an opportunity, and we were able to move towards getting a new facility that we knew we were going to have to either come out of the ground with at a higher cost or take advantage of what was there. And the positioning of that building in the community was very advantageous, I think, for the police department. And we've seen other agencies come on board with us there, and that's nice to see. I come from a business background. I ran budgets for a number of years, and I can say that I've lived in communities that don't manage their budgets very well, and it really causes a hardship on the taxpayers, on the community, on abandoned projects that really get started and launched and not finished. And I haven't seen that here, and it's wonderful to see something start and finish and have a natural progression in it.
Great. We've got a minute left. I'm going to give you each 30 seconds just to wrap up what you'd like to say. We'll go with you and then end with you.
Well, I've enjoyed, as I said, I didn't have the intent of, I retired, and I found myself with an opportunity to get involved with building here in the community and commercial building, just because of my background. But I dealt with the city and got familiar with the process in the city, and I liked it. And that's how I got on board. I think the city government is being run very well. The people that we have in places that we have them are doing a wonderful job.
Okay, Mike.
You know, it's been a long time, over 9 years here on the city council. But I started off a long time ago on a volunteer fire department and worked my way up and boards, and I just enjoy serving the people of Sholo. I've worked here with a local phone company for 40 years, and so I've been around for quite a long time, seen a lot of different growth, and I like to see us maintain our growth, but yet still have a natural growth pattern. I'm here to serve the people, and I'd love to serve the people. If we're here to back or work with our constituents of senators and congressmen, you know, I'm just now feeling comfortable where I can do that, where I can at least talk to them. They know who I am. So if I could stay in with that, I would appreciate it. and serve the people some more.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. Mike,
you.
Alsop, appreciate
Thank
it.
you,
Brent
Mayor.
Hatch, thank you. Stay tuned for our next segment where we will have people from city staff that will be sharing with us a little bit about the election process and the dates of our voting. Thank you. All right, welcome back to Inside City Hall. We have our city clerk, Ann Kurosaki, with us.
Hello.
And Deputy City Clerk, Tamara Reedhead.
Hello.
Welcome today, ladies.
Thank
Glad
you.
to
Thank
have
you.
you. We don't normally have good-looking people on our show, so it's great to have you. They change everything. Our ratings are going to go up this morning for sure. We have an election coming up, and there's different things on the ballot. So why don't we start off about the information and the upcoming election that we have, Ann?
All right, thank you. And Mayor, we appreciate you having us here to talk about the elections. We are having a primary election. It's on August 28th. We have 3 council seats and 1 ballot proposition. And voters will get to choose from 4 candidates. We have 3 incumbents, Brent Hatch, Mike Alsop, John Leach Jr., and we have 1 newcomer. His name is Kevin Weaver. The other thing is their terms are 4 years, so their terms will expire. The winning candidates, the 3 winning candidates will serve until December 2022. And we have 1 ballot proposition, and it's to adopt the 2018 general plan.
All right. So when is the election? What dates are the election? Do we know that?
We do have the dates for the election. Let's see. I have, oh,
I'm sorry, I kind of threw a little curve there, but
yes, you did. Well, as Ann said, the date for the election is August 28th, which is a Tuesday.
okay, great. So we have a little bit of time. What is the ballot proposition, Tamara?
Okay, the ballot proposition will be shown as Proposition 416 on the ballot, and it asks voters to approve the 2018 general plan. Now, a general plan provides guidelines for land use, transportation, quality growth, and compatible development. The last general plan was approved by the voters in 2008, and although land development has been minimal, we're required by state law to update the general plan every 10 years and get voter approval. So,
You know, I think a lot of people don't understand that having a general plan when we have developments and changes and codes and zoning, there's a lot of developments that as a city council we have to say, does this meet the general plan? Is it part of our general plan? And if it doesn't, then we are guided a little bit because the public has approved that this is our general plan. And so we do really follow that, although we don't change it that often.
right. Now, what's new in the 2018 plan are updated maps, demographic data, and general information. But the rest of the plan is a close copy of what was adopted in 2008. Any household with a registered SHOLO voter will receive a publicity pamphlet in the mail with more information, and we also are providing an informational brochure about the general plan in the utility bills mailed in July.
Okay. And with political signs, okay, it's always an issue. If we have an issue, if somebody puts a sign up in your yard, talk a little bit about political signs because we're going to start seeing them.
And you will,
Not
correct?
just for local people. We're going to see people from all over the state will have
Absolutely.
different things going on.
June 29th was the first day for candidates to put up political signs in our city, and they will put them on private property, but of course they need to get the private property owner's permission, and they will also see them on public rights of way, like city-owned streets and things like that. And because it is a statewide election, not only a city election, voters will see other proposition numbers, they'll see other candidates' names for other races, so there are going to be a lot of political signs coming up.
So can I take a sign down if I don't like that particular candidate and he put it out in front of my house, or he put it in, in front of my office or down at the city park and I don't want it to be there
Well,
as a citizen?
sure. I mean, presumably, we assume that someone's asked your permission. If I'm the owner, they're supposed to come and ask me. And so all the signs on the back or on the front will have a contact information. So what I would do is I would call that candidate and say, I didn't authorize you to put it on my private property. You can take it down, or
But if it's in a right-of-way, can he put it in a right-of-way and be legal?
As long as it's in the city-owned right of way.
Okay, city-owned
correct,
right
not
of way.
state.
So
not
I couldn't
state-owned.
change that, but he has the
Yes.
right to place it there.
I think the only exception is that if it's blocking and you think it's causing a traffic hazard, like you can't see beyond the sign, if it's at an intersection, then I would suggest you call the city or call maybe the police and say there's a sign that is obstructing traffic, obstructing the vision, and it could be a hazard. Then things like that, those will be followed up on, and they may have to be removed.
Okay, great. Are we gonna have a general election in November?
Well, that depends on what happens at the primary election, but I need to let you know that July 30th is the last day to register to vote in the August 28th primary, and October 8th is the last day to register to vote in the general election on November 6th. Voters who have moved to a different physical address or who have changed their name, perhaps because of divorce or marriage, or who want to change their political or party designation, they will need to re-register. And we do have voter registration forms available in the lobby at City Hall.
Okay. And so give us those dates one more time so we're clear as far as how long we have to register and any other
Okay,
key
to
dates
vote-
we need to be aware of.
Okay, to vote in the primary election August 28th, they have to register by July 30th.
Okay.
To vote in the general election, they have to be registered by October 8th. And Mayor, let me tell you a little bit about our election as far as the ballot. Our city election, which is combined with federal, state, and county elections, will appear at the end near the end of the ballot. Show Low voters will have two polling places to choose from. One is the city campus gym, which is on East McNeil, and the other is Timber Mesa Fire and Medical District on the Deuce of Clubs across from the airport. And when voters go in, they will need to present the necessary identification at the polls to receive a ballot. Or they can call the county to receive a ballot in the mail, and that number is 800-668-3867, and they have to call by August 17th.
Okay.
Mayor, may I interject and talk about the primary election? Our city council, our city elections are nonpartisan, and what that means is council members do not declare any party affiliation with any political party. And so when I'm a voter and I go to the polls to vote, they will give me a ballot for the party that I designated. In other words, if I put on my voter registration form that I'm a Republican, a Democrat, a Green, or a Libertarian, that's the ballot they'll give me, and it will have the city portion included. But if I'm independent, or I said, no, I didn't want to designate a party, then I can still go, because Arizona is considered an open primary state. And what that means is I go to the polls, I have no party designation. They will ask you, what ballot do you want? So you can choose from Democrat, Republican, Green, or a city-only ballot, and that has only city races. And the only party that has chosen not to participate is the Libertarians. So I could not ask for a Libertarian ballot. So at the primary, then our 4 council candidates are running for these 3 seats. What will happen is at the end of the election, when we canvass the vote, if any candidate receives more than 50% of the vote, they're considered elected at the primary. And so they will not be a general election. If, of course, not all 3, the top 3 get on, then yes, we will have a general election. The ballot proposition itself will be decided at the primary, one way or the other. It will either pass or fail.
Okay. And this is an election that's not a mail-in election. I mean,
Correct.
you'll have to actually go to
And
the
the
polling
only
place.
way it's considered mail-in is that, as Tamara says, you can call the county and ask for what's called an early ballot,
right.
and then you get the ballot in the mail.
Okay, great. How can we learn more about this? Is there a website or any other place that people can go to find out more information?
Well, I can tell you about the early ballots, a little bit more about the early ballots. They'll be mailed to the voters by Navajo County beginning August 1st. And they have until August 17th to request an early ballot if they do want one. So the last date we suggest mailing the ballot back is Friday, August 24th, to make sure it's received by the county by the August 28th election. or they can drop the ballots off, their voted ballots off, the day of the election at any polling place in Navajo County. Polling places do stay open till 7 p.m. And if there is a general election, as we said, the date will be November 6th.
Okay. Is there any way to learn more about these candidates or anything?
Correct. Yes, we are, the Shoal Chamber of Commerce is hosting a candidate forum. It's going to be on Thursday, July 26th. It will be here in Council Chambers at 181 North 9th Street. And Shoal TV will be broadcasting it live, or any citizen, any voter who would like to come and hear the candidates debate in person is welcome to come. That's going to be at 6 o'clock. We are also mailing an informational brochure with, as Tamara said, in the July utility bill about the general plan, and the quarterly newsletter has election information. We also have election information on our website at sholoaz.gov.
All right. So there's a lot of information, places to go and can get
Yes.
that information.
I think
That's
one more
great.
thing I want to add,
Okay.
just for voter information, the polling places will be open from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. And as Tamara said, we can either vote in person or you can take your voted ballot there. The difference is this year, Navajo County is letting, if I have a voted ballot, and let's say, and I don't live where I work in the same vicinity, and I have a voted ballot, I didn't mail it in, I need to take it in. You don't have to go to where you might normally vote. If let's say I live in Lakeside and I come and I work in Sholo, I can drop it off at a Sholo polling place as long as it's within Navajo County, and that's a difference where you can take it to any polling place in the county.
Great. Is there any other, information where I need to go, or can I go at any place? Do I have to go to my specific polling place?
There are two polling
there's-
places.
okay, right.
As I said, Timber Mesa Fire and Medical
Okay.
on east end of Deusa Clubs, across from the airport,
Okay.
or the City Campus Gymnasium on East McNeil. Those are the
Right.
two
Those
polling
are the
places.
two polling places. Can I go to either one?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not locked into one or the
Right.
other. Great. All right. Well, anything else you guys want to share today about your predictions for anything, or when we're going to have rain, or how long it's going to be, anything like that?
I guess all I can say is, look at the information that's out there. I'm sure there are going to be articles in the newspaper. Anybody who's interested in the candidates can listen in on the forum. It is going to be live on broadcast on Sholo TV channel 1056 for HD, or channel 56 on SD, and on the website they can look at it, and then they can learn a little bit more about the candidates.
That's great. Well, appreciate having you with us today. People don't know that you guys really run the city, though. These two ladies, they work hard. They're behind the scenes, and you don't get half the recognition you should get. But thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you for
Appreciate
having
it.
us.
And thank you, Amber.
ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us today on Inside City Hall, and we hope you have a great day. Thank you.